Welcome back, everybody. All right, so this week I'm going to answer a question from a viewer about sliding dovetails. Let's get to it. So this question came from someone that was watching the chest on chest build, and they wanted to know how I set up and cut sliding dovetails. So first thing I did was I made a jig here. It's just 2 pieces of 3/4 MDF, and what I like to do is I like to write all my information on it. So it's for a 3/4 sliding dovetail. Uses a 3/4 bearing, 3/4 bit, 14 degree. I use a 3/8 spiral upcut bit for clean out, and then it tells me how wide of a panel I can cut. That's just for setup, and you think you'd remember these things, but you actually don't. Alright, so the next thing is you kind of need 2 routers to do this. Alright, so to make this jig, like I said, all it is 3/4 is you have to make the jig to fit a 3/4 bearing, and you want it so that it's tight in there. Probably the easiest way to actually do this, I cut this with a dado blade, but probably one of the easier ways is just take 2 boards, put this in here, slap it together, and then staple you a bottom on the bottom of it, and then to do the same thing on the other side. Alright, so once you get that, you've got to put, now this is a 3/4 bit and a 3/4 bearing. So you have to put your bit in there so that it doesn't hit the inside, because it will actually hit, and you stick it up through here. But it will work. So then what you do is you just set your router on the underside like this, and then set it to whatever depth you want. So in my case, it's 5/16. So with it being 5/16, I like to use these fast cap mag shims. Before I had these, I just took and cut a 5/16 inch piece of wood and did it that way. So these are an 1/8 inch each. So I take 2 of these and 1/16 inch shim. Stick it on there until it's flush with the top of the router bit. Okay. Alright, that sets that up. Okay, now for your flush trim bit, basically I take it about a 1/16 inch below. So on my other router I would put my spiral flush trim bit in there, and then I would put this up there and bring it to the top, and then take it down so that it's only cutting like 1/8 of an inch in there. And the only reason I do that is just to take the pressure off the bit. You can actually run this bit through and it'd be fine, but like if you're dealing with figured woods and things like that, it really helps prevent like blowout. So, but if I was just doing poplar or walnut, you have to do that. And if you don't have a spiral upcut bit, then you can always use a dado blade and a table saw. All right. So basically, then all you do is at that point you got yourself set up, and for this section, you would just set this on there. Set this on there like this, and run your dovetail. So that gives you, now to cut your sliding dovetail portion, I use a router table. There's other ways to do it. You can now in the video you'll see me I built another jig with a clamp or whatever, and I did that just to try it. A buddy of mine, Charles Neal, does it that way. But it's really not necessary, and this is the way I've always done it. Is I have it says sliding dovetail fence, the height is 5/16, and then I need a 1/16 inch of the bit showing, and that'll give me my setup. So what I would do here is, and one thing you've got to do is when you do a cut like this, you have to have this bit so that it's underneath a piece of wood. You don't want it sticking out. It's just a little safer that way, and you get a better cut. I've seen Glenn Huey, he just has his wide open and he'll just barrel on through. So you can do it that way. It's not an issue, but this is a little bit safer and cleaner cut. So I would have this set up here, and this would be in here, and then I would use my mag shim again, and this would be sticking out a 1/16 of an inch from this, and then that gives me my perfect setup every time, and I don't have to go through the fussing and fighting. With the other jig, I don't know what the distance was, but then all you're going to do is once this is attached to your fence, you just hold your piece up and just ride it on through, slide it on through. And that's about it. And so that's how I cut a sliding dovetail. All right, thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. And if you have any other questions, feel free to shoot them to me, and I'll answer them as quick as I can. All right, we'll see you next week.